It's easy to focus on the members of the royal family, but there are a ton of other people who support them in their endeavors. While everyone loves to catch a glimpse of the royal children, we usually don't see the legion of nannies tasked with their care. You'll be shocked by some of the strict requirements royal nannies must adhere to. But first, make sure to click subscribe for more from the taco. Let's get on to that list of royal requirements. Martial arts. There are a ton of people who keep the various estates of the royal family running. Everyone knows that each member of the royal family has their own security force that travel everywhere with them, even on vacation. Of course, this includes all of the royal children, and their security force accompanies them to school each and every day. But this isn't enough for the royal family, and they also require their nannies to be willing and able to defend their children if worse comes to worse. Simply being able to calm a tantrum or cook lunch isn't enough for these nannies, who must be trained in martial arts. When applying for most jobs, fighting skills isn't something you need to include on your resume, but it is in this case. This may seem over the top, but kidnapping is a real danger for members of the royal family. A man was once caught breaking into the school of little Prince George, although thankfully nobody was harmed. There was also the case of Ian Ball, who tried to kidnap Princess Anne, the only daughter of Queen Elizabeth. Being a nanny is never an easy job, but in this case it can be downright dangerous. Driving. Although thankfully such events are few and far between, things like kidnapping are a constant fear for members of the royal family. In addition to being able to utilize self-defense to take down a kidnapper, nannies need to be able to make a quick getaway in a motor vehicle. Having a driver's license seems like a basic requirement to be a nanny, but this simply isn't enough in this case. Nannies are required to take extensive driving classes. Some of the techniques they use are useful in everyday situations, such as dealing with inclement weather. Now that we think about it, it's a shame more people aren't required to learn how to properly drive in the rain or snow. But beyond that, these nannies are trained in driving skills more suitable for stunt people than childcare providers. In a situation where they're behind the wheel and someone is in pursuit, nannies need to be able to get their royal charges to safety. They learn how to drive evasively in case they need to lose a pursuer, which also works well when they're dodging photographers. Having a basic driver's license just doesn't cut it in this case. Education. By now, you might be wondering just how one becomes qualified to nanny for the royal family. It requires no shortage of training, and such nannies are in high demand. Bath's Norland College is considered to be the pinnacle in nanny training, and their graduates are in demand by wealthy and powerful families all over the world. The school has been around since 1892, and Maria Teresa Turian Borrello, the nanny of Prince George, is a graduate. According to the school, her skills are about average for what they expect of their students. In recent years, the school has been forced to more than double its classroom size in order to meet the growing demand for their graduates. Norland Vice President Mandy Donaldson claims there are about 6 jobs available for every one graduate. Upon successfully completing the program, they have obtained a 3-year Bachelor of Arts degree in Early Years Development and Learning, which is validated by the University of Gloucestershire. The school costs over $18,000 per year to attend, which doesn't include room and board. Among the various skills they learn during their time at Norland, students are expected to gain an understanding of the social and emotional development of children. Uniform. School uniforms can be a controversial subject, but they're not up for debate at Norland College. Nannies in training are expected to suit up whenever they're on campus and when traveling to and from the school. These uniforms have been around for 125 years, and there is a male and a female version. Female students wear a brown felt hat, a brown dress, and a brown shrug. In the summer, this uniform will also consist of light tights and white gloves, but in the winter, it will have dark tights, brown gloves, and a jacket. Male students, on the other hand, wear a jacket, shirt, tie, and pants all year round. A single pair of stud earrings may be worn, but no other body jewelry or watches. Putting on the uniform means you're on duty, and students are forbidden from wearing it while chewing gum, listening to headphones, using a phone while walking, or buying alcohol. For a long period of time, nannies in the royal family were required to wear this uniform while on duty. However, it's now up to the discretion of their employers, and many progressive royal family members choose to let their nannies wear regular clothing. Nutrition. In addition to learning martial arts and evasive driving maneuvers, nannies are also trained in much more mundane yet sensible tasks. They're required to take courses in nutrition so they can provide their clients with healthy, balanced meals. Royal nannies learn how to best support their families when they are breast or bottle feeding and then eventually start preparing meals. Of course, there are royal chefs at the family's disposal, and the nanny will often work closely with them in order to plan suitable and healthy meals for the children. Sure, the parents will have some say in the menu, but they will primarily rely on the expertise of the nanny. Not only do nannies need to make sure meals are healthy, but they're trained to take various medical needs and allergies into account. In school, they also study the impact of cultural influence on diet, so they can create a proper menu. As we all know, in the royal family, few things are as important as remaining proper. They need to be prepared to cook up anything the family could require, from a quick snack to a full party spread. Discretion. No small part of any nanny's job is keeping the children safe, but as we all know, the royal family faces extra challenges that the average household doesn't have to deal with. Paparazzi are always out and about trying to take photos of the royal family, so nannies learn how to best evade them while driving and keeping the kids hidden in the back seat. Confidentiality and privacy are huge deals for the royal family, so a nanny must be an expert when it comes to discretion. The royal family has been rocked by scandals before, such as when the book The Little Princesses, the story of the Queen's childhood by her nanny, came out in 1950. It was written by former nanny Marion Crawford and talked about what it was like raising Queen Elizabeth and her sister Princess Margaret. The book caused a massive scandal, and now nannies are expected to sign strict confidentiality agreements. While attending Norland, nannies also learn about cybersecurity and how to stay safe online. Members of the royal family aren't allowed to have personal social media accounts, and their nannies generally follow this rule as well. Before being hired, a royal nanny's online activity will be highly scrutinized. Kidnapping. As we mentioned earlier, kidnapping is a serious threat to members of the royal family. Nannies need to train in self-defense and strategic driving maneuvers, but the requirements go far beyond that. Even adult members of the royal family are at risk of being abducted and are forced to undergo special training. When Meghan Markle joined the royal family, she was trained in what to do if she ever found herself in a hostile situation. This includes a fake kidnapping and rescue situation involving live ammunition. It sounds terrifying, but supposedly it's important to learn what live gunfire sounds like in case you're ever in such a situation. All members of the royal family are expected to go through this training exercise, and so are their nannies. They need to be able to work through worst-case scenarios which can't be escaped by a clever driving maneuver. Instead, these sessions focus on building a relationship with potential kidnappers and trying to stay alive until help arrives. Security training is just one of the many things the royal family takes seriously, and we don't blame them one bit. Being a nanny for a member of the royal family can be a potentially dangerous position. Dedication. Being a nanny for the royal family is a prestigious and important assignment. Because nannies are trained to put the needs of their clients first, their own personal lives typically end up taking a backseat. In general, the royal family prefers to hire nannies who do not have their own families. This makes it easier for the nanny to dedicate his or her time to their job. Maria Teresa Turian Borrallo graduated from Norland College over 20 years ago and has nannied for many high-profile families since then, including the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. Borrallo realizes the importance of giving her all to the family she works for, and you can sometimes spot her wearing the traditional Norland uniform while caring for the children. It's expected that your work will always come first when you're a nanny for the royal, and this is something many struggle with. Although it can be an enjoyable and lucrative position, many nannies end up quitting when they realize it's almost impossible to strike a good work-life balance. But at least the job pays well, with top-earning Norland College graduates earning nearly $100,000 per year. Support. Becoming a nanny for the royal family means going through a ton of training beforehand. But even those who attend the most prestigious of schools still have a lot to learn. Each family is different, and a new nanny will need to learn to adapt to their needs. After all, there is no one-size-fits-all method of caring for children, whether you're a parent or a nanny. Royal nannies need to learn to adapt to the needs of a growing family, and high-profile families have very specific needs. Because of this, Norland nannies are required to stay in contact with their alma mater even after graduation. The school generally supervises their nannies who go on to be placed with high-profile families for a period of time. Unlike average nannies, those working for the royal family typically spend more alone time working with just the children. Their parents travel and work frequently, and this means an additional level of care is required. Just as Norland supports its nannies, the nannies must then support their royal clients. The nannies will also need to be able to integrate themselves with the other members of the household staff in order to provide the highest level of care possible. Manners. Members of the royal family have no shortage of rules they need to learn to follow. Most families value good manners, but they're absolutely required in the royal family. In addition to the normal please and thank you rules of etiquette, there are tons of special rules specific to the royal family. Although they're employees and not members of the royal family, nannies need to be aware of all of these rules and regulations in order to properly teach their young charges. After all, the way the children behave will be considered a reflection of the way they're being cared for. And in the royal family, there is zero tolerance for poor manners. Children in the royal family aren't allowed to sit with the adults at formal dinners because their conversation skills aren't yet up to snuff. They need to learn to be perfectly polite and contribute to the conversation before they can graduate from the kids' table. If royal kids aren't even allowed to sit at the proper dinner table until they can behave, you know there is no room for error when it comes to having impeccable manners. Nannies need to be able to behave perfectly proper themselves so they can teach royal children how to fit into polite society. What do you think about the requirements to be a royal nanny? Do you think you could make the cut, or is it not worth it? Tell us what you think in the comments section, and then click on the subscribe button for more videos from us here at The Taco. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.